How do you increase your progesterone? Part 1. It can feel like at every turn, forces in the environment are destroying your ability to make and retain progesterone. It seems as though for every one thing that raises progesterone, there are 100 that can destroy it. I have fought those forces in my own health journey. The holistic point of view is one that recognizes organisms and their environment are deeply interconnected, and it would be futile to try and understand one part in isolation. To paraphrase Aristotle, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Increasing progesterone can be an uphill battle without considering this. Energy flows through the environment and through us, and we transform that energy in turn. Progesterone production can only happen when the environment is conducive to it. Its presence or lack thereof is like the canary in the coal mine for society's ultimate health. The availability of biological energy is disturbingly neglected when it comes to women's health. It's an important place to start, as energy availability is upstream from most health issues. When a car doesn't start, it's prudent to see first if the fuel tank is empty before going on to more elaborate troubleshooting. If you don't eat enough, you won't have enough energy to make progesterone. Professor Anne Locks revolutionized how we understand the energy requirements of women, overturning the idea that exercise is inherently stressful, and rather energy availability is what determines the stress load and if ovulation can occur. She defines energy availability as the amount of dietary energy remaining after exercise training for all other metabolic processes. This idea of energy availability is at the heart of bioenergetics and Dr. Pete's work. So for athletes or active women, once the energy bill for activity or exercise has been paid, what will be left for all the other physiological processes that must occur for optimal health? Locks found that women with less than 30 kilocalories per kilo of lean body mass of energy availability had disturbed frequency and amplitudes of LH pulsatility, which is what determines if ovulation will occur. Healthy pulsatility is around 19 pulses per 24 hours, with an amplitude of 1.5 to 3 micro-international units per litre. At 20 kilocalories per kilo, the frequency reduced to 15 pulses, and amplitude increased by 21%. So when LH is failing, it's released less frequently in bigger bursts of concentration. Based off her work, it can be recommended that for optimal health, a woman's energy availability should reach at least 45 kilocalories per kilo of lean body mass per day. Kathleen Stewart talks about trying to increase your energy availability as much as you can to which makes you feel good without gaining weight. One might get the impression that our society suffers from too much energy availability. However, the forces of dieting culture, along with the high energy needs of pregnancy and breastfeeding, along with being a mother, have led to a subset of women who do suffer from low energy availability and are completely unaware of it. Recreational exercises at a gym in New Zealand were screened, and 45% of the sample were classified as at risk of having low energy availability, also known as LEA. A breastfeeding mother's total energy demands can increase to match that of athletes, putting her at risk of being in the LEA state with disturbed progesterone production. If you want to learn more about getting out of an LEA state, Kathleen Stewart, along with the Strong Sisters, have a series on this where they extensively go through how the LEA state affects not just reproductive hormones like progesterone, but the entire human body. They also offer practical advice about how to slowly increase your food intake to increase your energy availability without putting on weight. I was able to add an additional 500 calories per day of food intake following this advice without gaining weight. It is a very slow process, but extremely worthwhile. It's amazing how we can adapt to low energy availability. The body can budget its energy in a way that allows us to move through life without dying suddenly. The study of human starvation and disorders like anorexia nervosa show us the extent we can withstand low resources without death. But that state is far from optimal, and in contrast to the energy intensity requirements that bring about creating new life in the universe. Life that can alter its course and propel it towards a hopeful future. If you're trying to increase your progesterone, energy availability is an important place to start. If you don't ovulate, you don't make enough progesterone. Progesterone is vital for women's health, not just reproduction. Progestins aren't progesterone. Are you making enough progesterone?